We're going to find the sum of a geometric series using summation notation, also called sigma notation. The reason why is because this E-looking thing is the Greek letter sigma. And what it means, well, first of all, I'm going to remind you guys that that this part of the sigma notation is the nth term in our geometric series. This is a sub n. Just to remind you. Oh, and let me also remind you that a sub n, there's a formula for a sub n for a geometric series. It's a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. So a couple things that are kind of neat is when you look at this guy, what you end up seeing is that if you have the variable minus 1, then what you end up getting is this first number here ends up being your a sub 1, and the second number there turns out to be your r. Now, that does not work if this is not n minus 1 or k minus 1. It only works when you have the variable minus 1. If it's something else, then you're actually going to have to compute the first and second term. You'll have to compute the first term to get a sub 1, and you'll have to compute the first and second term to find r. But in this case, we can look right at it and say a sub 1 is 4 and r is 3. Yay! Okay, anyways, we're gonna do things a little bit. I want to go back just for a sec. What I'd like to do is kind of do things the manual way. And the manual way is this. We're going to try to figure out what a sub 1 is. A sub 1 is going to be, we're going to take this k and put it in here for 1. So it'll be 4 times 3 times to the power of 1 minus 1. And that's just 0, so that'll be 4. And then we'll do a sub 2. And a sub 2 is going to be equal to, we'll put in the, remember when we're using summation notation, the k part is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way up to 10. That'll be the highest number. So it'll be 4 to the 3, 4 times 3 raised to the power of 2 minus 1, because we put in the 2 for k here. So that'll be 4 times 3, that's 12. And once we have a sub 1 and a sub 2, we can find r. r is going to be a sub 2 divided by a sub 1. And that'll be 12 divided by 4, and that gets us 3. Again, we can see that that's 3, but it only worked out perfectly because we have the variable minus 1. If this was just the variable by itself, or variable plus 1, or anything else, we'd have to do this whole technique in order to find r. Well, now we know what r is, and we know what a sub 1 is, and we still need to know, let's see, we need to know a sub 1, and we need to know r. We still need to know the number of the terms in the series, that's n. Now, n in this particular case is a little bit different than the n that we've seen all along. A lot of times n is the number of a particular term. In this case, n stands for the number. In this formula, it's the number of terms in the series. So unfortunately, occasionally a variable gets used for more than one thing. In this case, n is the number of terms in the series for this n right there. For this n and this n, it still means whatever number of a particular term that we're interested in. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the formula now. The formula for the sum is going to be s sub, we need to figure out how to find n. So in this case, n is going to be equal to the top number minus the bottom plus 1. So 10 minus 1 plus 1. And in this case, it turns out that there's 10 terms in the series. Now, if this number was something other than 1, this will not be the number of terms in the series, and you must do this math in order to figure out the number of terms. But in our case, we're going to say we're going to find the sum of the first 10 terms, and we're going to do that by adding a sub 1, which is 4. By multiplying a sub 1, which is 4, times 1 minus r, which is 3, raised to the power of n, which is now 10. And we're going to put that all over 1 minus r, which is 3. Now, one would hope that you could just cancel this 1 minus 3 with this 1 minus 3, but you cannot do that. So we actually have to multiply this stuff out in order to get the answer. Now, I'm going to tell you that if you do this calculation on the calculator correctly, you will get 118,096 or 118096. I would like you to take your calculator out and try to do this calculation and see if you get this result. I will tell you it's hard to punch this into the calculator correctly and get the correct result. So it's worth trying right now. Go ahead and practice it and see what you can do.